Samma Sankappo Samma Vacha Samma Kammanto Samma Ajivo Samma Vayamo Samma Sati Samma Samadhi. Good evening, Dharma friends. May you have the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem to begin the Sutta study class and also learn the Dhamma in this 1 hour and 15 minutes. Those who join with us from different cities here in Canada, you are warmly welcome with blessings. And some of our friends joined from Sri Lanka also. May you have a very good morning. May the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem should be with you to make your day happy and peaceful. We are going to get this Sutta study done today with a new Sutta. Before that, we want to pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and also in English. Let's join with me in reciting these verses, and may the blessings of the Buddha be with you to study Dhamma in this class. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, friends, it is Saturday, May 11th, 2024. We are about to begin another Sutta reading, which help us understand the Dhamma in the name of Sila, Samadhi and Panya. We all know the fact that this Sutta study class is designed for reading Suttas and understanding the very important Dhamma elements for our day-to-day practice. We know that the practical side is a little difficult compared to the theoretical understanding, because we are in a world where certain things are appreciated. They are mostly against the pure Dhamma, but they are very good for mundane purposes. So that the life with mundane status always appreciate karma, the sensual pleasures, whereas the Dhamma admires living away from mundane sense. This is why the practical aspect of the Dhamma is difficult. However, when you read the Dhamma in suttas, when you experience Dhamma in a certain way, you find the right tune to do the Dhamma activities in the suttas while you help everyone else in the society with mundane sense, because your wisdom has been growing and increasing and it's developing. So how does that happen? You associate Kalyana Mittas and you hear Dhamma from them and you become a Kalyana Mitta so that you give the Dhamma to others. The essence of your mind with wisdom is going to be a big factor here, so that you know how to deal with mundane things as well as supramundane experiences. So I always admire reading suttas. Should not give it to monks and nuns as their assets. Even Upasaka and Upasika, if I if I use those titles for you in the Dhamma, you could do the same thing. I know that many of those friends who join with us today, and even if some people do not join with us today in this class, there are there are number of upasaka and upasika who knows the Dhamma better. Their vision is clear. So I'm so happy that I could give some opportunities for those wonderful people to embrace the Dhamma in a certain way. All right, that is about something I wanted to share to begin today's Sutta study class. The Sutta we selected for today's discussion is also from Majjhima Nikaya. The Sutta number is 44. The Pali title of it is Chula Vedalla Sutta. When it comes to translation, it is the discourse on the shorter catechism. There are other translation as well. That is the translation I got. Is I always try to find the Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation or Bhikkhu Tanisaro. Sometimes I take Bhikkhu Sujatos. Whichever is fine if the Dhamma is translated very well. So this is that sutta that we really admire, Chula Vedalla Sutta, the discourse on the shorter catechism. This sutta is one of the highlighted suttas in the entire Tripitaka because of the Dhamma facts we have in the discourse. Better to give a kind of summary for the sutta because this sutta could not be discussed within one day. So we may have another class for this, like we did with the Mahasatchaka Sutta. When it comes to the skeleton of this discourse, you see that it is a form of dialogue or question and answers between two important and great disciples of the Buddha. One is a bhikkhuni, and the other one is a male disciple of the Buddha. So there, if we talk about their relatedness, they were husband and wife. A wife became a bhikkhuni and attained full enlightenment. Well, before that, the husband is still being a upasaka, attained to anagami state, so that their discussion is full of wisdom, so that everybody can read it and can benefit from it. This sutta, Chula Vedalla Sutta, is quite straightforward. It's open with the layman Visakas. I didn't mention the name, Dhammadinna, and also layman Visaka. They basically, the Visaka, former husband of Dhammadinna, asked questions from Dhammadinna, and Dhammadinna answered all questions in a marvelous way. So there are 8 topics that they discuss. Under 8 topics, there are several questions. According to my memory, it's 34 questions are recorded in the discourse, and they are all under 8 subjects. One is Sakkaya Ditthi, and also 5 aggregates of clinging. One area they started the discussion with the Sakkaya Ditthi, self-view, and also 5 aggregates of clinging, Panch Upadana Khanda. The second topic they talk about is the Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Attangika Magga. The third topic, they have questions and answers here, is about the nature of mental cultivation, Samadhi. And then the fourth one is Sankara, the formation. 3 kinds of Sankara are being talked here. And you know what, when we talk about Sankara, it is a big subject always. And a lot of people have confusion about what Sankara is and how Sankara is divided into subcategories. And the category we discuss here is different. It's not heard in other places as in this discourse, so that it is important too. That is the fourth subject out of 8. And the fifth one is the Sanya Vedeta Nirodha, how one can get into Sanya Vedeta Nirodha, how one can get out of Sanya Vedeta Nirodha is discussed. The cessation of perception and feeling. That's the highest attainment. If you talk about Cheto Vimutti, the liberation your mind from attainments to different stages of jhana, Cheto Vimutti. And the next subject is feeling Vedana, and under that we can see a beautiful explanation where we do not find such clear explanation elsewhere in the Tripitaka. And the latent tendency, Anusaya, that is another topic, which is the seventh one. And the last one is Patibhaga, opposite side of Dhamma is being talked. So these are the 8 subjects, subtopics, Bhikkhuni Dhammanidina and Visakha discuss, and 34 questions are being asked by Visakha in this discourse from Dhammadina. So this is a kind of summary for the sutta. Now we go into some details of Bhikkhuni Dhammadina and also Visakha, because it's really interesting. It could be something you could be applicable, you could apply in your life. Visakha and Dhammadina were very good husband and wife. They were so loving and living up to the standard of husband and wife. One of the things they were doing always as a couple was listening to the Buddha's sermon at the monastery, either from sometime even from great disciples. One day, Visakha came from the monastery after the Dhamma sermon, and he was not like before. He directly went to his room, according to the commentarial evidences, and stayed silent. Dhammadina was very pleasant woman, a wife, and she was always looking for Visakha when he came from the monastery or elsewhere. And this day she was watching the changing behavior of Visakha, her husband, and she thought that I could ask from Visakha whether he is having some physical ailments or problems, whatever. Then she went to their room and asked, what is happening? Are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Visakha said silently, in a very disciplined way, that I feel something extraordinary today during the sermon, and I feel that a lot of things we admire in our life are not that marvelous anymore. I feel that these are my words. This is how I understand Visakha's statement to Dhammadina. I don't feel to do certain things that I did before, because from the sermon I listened to from the Buddha, I understood that the life is such so that I should let go. Hereafter, my beloved wife, let's live like brother and sister, not husband and wife. When Visakha said this, live like brother and sister or friends, Dhammadina understood some transformation of his mind took place during the sermon, because Dhammadina was also a wise, a woman, a very good wife. She is a disciple of the Buddha, so that he could understand the fact that some transformation of Visakha's mind had happened during the sermon, and it could be something very interesting. So she did not question right after that answer, so that she got the opportunity to tell that if I have the chance to be a monk, be a nun in the order of Bhikkhuni, it would be a great thing for me, like you benefited from the teachings of the Buddha himself. I would be very happy if I get that opportunity. So then there was no time gap between that statement and when Visakha's statement. Okay, I will provide you everything for you to become a nun, and there is no objections from me. You could be a bhikkhuni. So that everything was arranged by Visakha for her legal, very lovely wife to become a bhikkhuni. This is marvelous. We can find this kind of information a few times in the entire Sasana recorded. They are recorded. One is between Bhaddakapila and Mahakasyapa. That story is also very wonderful, and there are some few stories like that. So Visakha arranged the ordination for Dhammadina, and Dhammadina became a bhikkhuni. After a few months of her training, and she came back to the place where, I mean, not the same house, to the village or the township or the city she was, and Visakha came to know about Dhammadina's return to the monastery where she was before for several days. Then Visakha was curious whether Dhammadina is successful in the Dharma training or not. So this uh, entire discourse is about that intention is working. Visakha wanted to know whether Dhammadina has done the job as a bhikkhuni. I think the way the Visakha thinks is extraordinary too, because according to the available information, he got into third stage of enlightenment during that sermon, so that the level he thinks about questioning would be very high, not like us, not like anybody who is in the ordinary state. Their question would be different, but someone who is in the anagami state ask questions, they are different. So that the doubt Visakha had is only about what kind of state Dhammadina is. But the Anagami is always away from the doubt of those eight things. But this is a form of doubt whether she attained to stages of enlightenment or not. So then Visakha asks question one after the other. As I said, 8 subcategories and 34 questions. And at last, at the end of the discourse, Dhammadina asked the question about nirvana. So we can ask questions about everything in a conditional world. But when you ask questions from an arahant or even below someone below, uh, there is no answer for that, because Nibbana is incomparable. Nibbana is not conditioned. So that asking questions about nirvana, about nirvana with the comparison of certain mundane things, you don't get answers. You cannot give answers. So that at the end of the discourse, Dhammadina said, if you have any doubts about answers I gave to you for each questions, you better go to the Supreme Buddha and ask from him. So that the answers the Buddha would be giving would be the final answers, and you may remember, you keep them in mind. So that shows how strong the Dhammadina's wisdom. I would tell you that after this sermon, Visakha went to the Buddha and reported each and every single words he discussed with Dhammadina, and all the answers were delivered well. And the Buddha admired Dhammadina that she is wise, she is she is wise, and all the answers she gave is right. And if I were the same position, same situation and occasion, and ask all these questions, I would answer in the same way. Having said that, the Buddha, appointed Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammadina as the foremost of beautiful dhammas, the bhikkhuni who can deliver the dhamma in a beautiful way, and there is no one like that, because explaining certain deep Dhamma facts and elaborating them in a beautiful way without any confusion could not be done by somebody who is having, you know, certain ways of knowledge. Even Arahant Bhikkhunis could not be able to do that if not they have this skill. So Dhammadinna is the foremost of Dhamma Katika. So that title was given to Dhammadinna by the Buddha right after this wonderful discourse. Chula Vedalla. The word Vedalla is always telling us the numbers, like you can. It is also one of the factors of Navangusatta Sasana. I cannot remember everything right now, but if I tell you that Navangusatta Sasana, Sutta, Gata, Nyaya, and Vedala is coming also in that group. So if bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and male and female devotees become masters on the entire teaching, what they do is uh, learning the Dhamma related to Navanga Sattu Sasana, and one of them is Vedala. Any numbers, any question and answers, and also in that numbers they are all related to Vedala. So that is a particular Dhamma area that we always have in that category Vedala. So that is the background of the Sutta. Let me get the translation. And the Buddha was in Rajgir at the squirrel sanctuary. It's called Bamboo Grove. While this conversation between Dhammadinna and also Visak happened, actually they were also in the nearby place Rajgir and did this discussion. Let me begin the reading of the sutta. The layman Visak approached the nun Bhikkhuni Dhammadinna, having gone up to her, saluted her, and sat down at one side. Sitting thus at one side, the layman Visaka said this to the Bhikkhuni Dhammadinna. Ayya, the word Ayya is coming from Thai tradition. And also it's also, let me see what is in Pali. It is a Pali word, Ayye. The Pali word is Ayye. It's a Pali word which is mostly used by Thai tradition. Now it has been also used in common Western world. Ayye is a kind of respective title for bhikkhunis. Then Ayye, self-identity, self-identity, sakkaya-ditthi, it is said. What now you Ayye is the self-identity. What is sakkaya-ditthi? Because everybody is talking about sakkaya-ditthi, and what is sakkaya-ditthi? We know that these two persons know this particular Dhamma fact 100%. They have gone beyond that level. Dhammadinna into the highest, and also Visaka had overcome it when he said Sakkaya Ditthi. But why do these two great disciples of the Buddha do this conversation? It is for our benefit. Visaka, it is these 5 aggregates of clinging that the Buddha speak of as being self-identity. Self-identity is a word given to the 5 aggregates of clinging. The aggregate of clinging, that is form, Rupa Upadana, aggregate of clinging, that is feeling, Vedana Upadana, and then Sanya, the perception, and then Sankara, the formation, and Vijnana Upanadakanda, consciousness. These are the 5 aggregates, and according to the Buddha's instruction, Sakkaya Ditthi is nothing but the view that these 5 things are mine. In other words, the 5 aggregates are taken as I, me, and myself. That view is called Sakkaya Ditthi. In other places in the Tripitaka, in Samyutta Nikaya particularly, Sakkaya is defined as Rupakaya, Vedanakaya, Sanyakaya, Sankarakaya, Vijnanakaya. The Kaya, Sakkaya, in the word Sakkaya Ditthi, Kaya means the 5 aggregates. When you add Sat, it means you possess, you own it. So Rupa, you own it. Vedana, you claim it. Perception, you say, you claim it, you possess it, you own it. Likewise, you own all these 5 skandhas. Then it's become Sakkaya Ditthi. So it's so simple. If you look at the Chachaka Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, it is very clear that how Sakkaya Ditthi, Sakkaya Samudaya and Sakkaya Nirodha is happening. Sakkaya Samudaya is going to come when you take eyes, etang mama, eso hamasmi, eso mi attati. When you understand, when you take your I is me and myself, Sakkaya Ditthi, Sakkaya Samudaya, a rising of Sakkaya Ditthi is there. When you don't take Sakkaya eyes as me and myself, I, me and myself, netang mama, namesu hamasi, namesu attati, you are not going to create Sakkaya anymore. Therefore, Nirodha is taking place there. So that is from Chachaka Sutta. So here it is said these are the 5 aggregates, and Sakkaya means a word for attachment to 5 aggregates. Visakha, being Anagami, understand this very much and say sadhu aiye, sadhu. Very good, excellent. Then after that he asked another questions with regard to the same and arising of Sakkaya Ditthi. The next question is about arising of Sakkaya Ditthi. What does that mean? How does Sakkaya Ditthi arises? According to the Buddha, Visakha, arising of Sakkaya Ditthi is compared to arising of craving. This is how it is said. Also, Visakha, it is this craving that leads to renewed existence, rebirth, accompanied by pleasure and lust, seeking pleasure here and there. That is to say, so the craving has Nandiraga Sahagata Tatra Tatra Binamini. That is the clear definition for Tanna. When whatever we call Tanna, it has this essence. Nandi Raga Sahagata Tatra Tatra Binamdini. Whatever we experience through senses, we have Nandi Raga, the kind of desire and lust. If we have desire and lust for seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking, it's called tanha. So that tanha is the rising of that kind of tanha is rising of Sakkaya Ditthi. So we can see that tanha is nothing but Sakkaya Ditthi, according to Dhammadinna in this conversation. Also, Visakha, it is the complete fading away of or ending away of this very craving, which has those qualities, is called Sakkaya Nirodha. So if you want to cease or stop Sakkaya Ditthi, what you need to do is to stop Tanha. Tanha has been categorized by the Buddha in the first discourse as 3, Kama Tanha, Bhava Tanha, Vibhava Tanha. You have to stop these 3 kinds of Tanha. That is called Sakkaya Nirodha. We know the fact that if you stop Sakkaya Ditthi, you either Sotapanna or you could be in another state of enlightenment, because sometimes some people do their practice to the level of arahantship directly. Sometimes you become anagami, so that at least you are in Sotapanna state. So that is what Venerable Bhikkhuni Medanandi said here. So craving for sensual pleasures, kamatanna, craving for existence, and craving for non-existent, they are all gone if you stop Sakkaya Ditthi. Sakkaya Samudaya, Sakkaya Nirodha are quite similar to Tanha Samudaya and Tanha Nirodha. That is what we need to understand. Actually, I want to read each and every words of here, because a lot of people, scholars who read the discourse and did a lot of research, said that this sutta should be read silently, alone, and take some time to think. Because Dhamma investigation could be done in a form that you can remember. So reading the sutta, each line of the sutta, that is really important, because this sutta is highlighted in the entire Tripitaka, which explains certain Dhamma elements very clearly. So thanks to Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammadina and Visakha. So next, I already explained the ending of self-identity or Sakkaya. Sakkaya is taking place when the complete overcome of very craving. Asesa viraga nirodho. These words in Pali says asesa, without leaving anything, reminderless, complete. Uh, you know, complete destruction of very craving is called tanha nirodha. So we have to stop kama tanha in the first place. Being able to get away from sensual pleasures is the thing, and then getting away from bhavatanha and vibhavatanha. These are called sakkaya nirodha and also tanha nirodha. What is the path for leading to this end? Which end? Ending of Sakkaya Ditthi, Sakkaya Nirodha. How could we do Sakkaya Nirodha? The path leading to the ending of Sakkaya Ditthi is taking place when you adhere to the Noble Eightfold Path. Visakha, Arya, Sakkaya Nirodha, Gamini, Patipada is nothing but following the Noble Eightfold Path, which has 8 limbs. Right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So now we have come to a certain understanding that Sakkaya Ditthi is defined, and the way Sakkaya Ditthi is arisen, and the way Sakkaya Ditthi is seized. Now, which path we need to practice for ending of Sakkaya Ditthi? That is Noble Eightfold Path. And we are talking about another aspect of this particular first subtopic, that is Upadana. Because we talk about Panchakanda. When we talk about Panchakanda, we of course added the Upadana to it, clinging to 5 aggregates. And that is the next question Visakha asked. Is that clinging the same as the 5 aggregates of clinging, or is it other than these 5 aggregates of clinging? This is a kind of question that some people asked in Dhamma discussion. Of course, I know that many people who are here know about this, because the distinguishing Panchakanda and Upadana is important. If I get this into discussion in this way, Arahants, including the Buddha, do not have Upadana, but they have Panchakanda. What Panchakanda means? Rupa, not one, many. Vedana, in many ways, and perception, and Sankara and Vijnana. They are always with living beings. No matter how spiritual you are, you have Panchakanda. When Panchakanda is done completely, when somebody attained to Nirvana, Parinirvana, just like the Buddha did when he was 80 years old, and when the other great disciples, when any Arahants did that, that is the moment they even let go of Panchakanda. Otherwise, Panchakanda is everywhere. And when Upadana is arising, that is called Pancha Upadana Kanda. If you remember those words from the first discourse, Panchupadanakkanda. Uh, so the Dhammadinna's statement is very clear. Clinging also, Visakha, is neither the same as these five aggregates of clinging, nor is it other than or different from these five aggregates of clinging. Also, Visakha, it is the desire and lust, Chanda Raga, right? Is the five aggregates of clinging that are the clinging therein. Uh, the Pali version is beautiful here. Let me get it. Um, where it is. Cannot find it anyway. So uh, basically, the Panchakhanda is such, and Upadana is this. Rupakhanda, Vedanakanda, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana are the five skandhas, and in many suttas, the skandha is defined also. Skandha is basically, in a simple term, is a mountain. Like, in a mountain, how many sands, how many stones you have? You cannot count. So many. And if you take sand into your hand or a cup, how many sands you have? So it's huge. Likewise, skandha means not one rupa. Rupa is defined in 11 ways: Atita, Anagata, Vartamana, present, past, and future. Then subtle and gross, and subtle and gross. There are other ways. So 11 ways is defined. So that Ajjata Bahira. So that's why it's called skandha, aggregates. So attachment to aggregate started creating kind of Nandiraga on Rupa Vedana and so on, because Panchakhanda are risen in the Salayatana function, basically in Passa. When objects come to the senses, they are welcomed by Vijnana, and then in the section called Phassa, it's the hub where physical and mental aspect meet together, and that is the place where skandha are built in. So once they are built in, immediately with Vedana and Sanya, that particular upadana is risen. So it is automatic in normal average human beings, and also even anagamis. Into the level of anagami, they created panch upadana khanda. But we cannot see that from full enlightened beings, including the Buddha, because they have done that. They have finished that particular behavior of their mind. So, arising of Sakkaya Ditthi view is being again talked in 20 ways here. That is the maximum number of ways of arising of Sakkaya Ditthi. Difficult to understand this way of explanation, because the wording is difficult, but what you can basically uh, understand there would be simple. Let me read this. Aya, how does self identity arise, come about? Visakha, an untaught ordinary person, Putujjana, who is not a seer of the noble ones, who is unskilled in the Dhamma of the nobles one, and also Vinaya, uh, who is not recognizing true Sappurisa, and who doesn't know about their Dharma or the discipline. He always considers this particular person is Putujjan in a simple term. He has no regard to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha at all, and he doesn't know any Dhamma and Vinaya that brings him and everyone joy and happiness. He's a very ordinary person. Here, I always tell people that you should not consider you are as a Putujja. Why? Because you have accepted many, many years ago that the Buddha is your teacher. And you follow the Dhamma, not maybe one or two aspects of the Dhamma, but you have accepted Dhamma as your guiding principle. And at any cost, you respect the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, so that you are not going to be a Putujjana anymore. You are a Satpurusha, because in the in categorization of different individuals, Buddha has clearly said that nobody can stay in the Putujjana level when they accept the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as three refuges. But we can call Kalyana Putujjana, because sometimes we can say that, okay, you have all the craving and tanha, upadana, avidya, and everything, but since you have accepted the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha into this level, you should be still Putujjana, but put Kalyanamita in front of it. It is the way yet to actually tradition is growing now, but we do not find it in the Dhamma at all, because when we come to 8 type of individuals, we have the one who is on the path to stream entry. That is the first one. In that we have Saddhanusari and Dhammanusari. Nobody can be at least Saddhanusari unless he or she accept the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So that you are not going to be a Putujjana at all, in my understanding. Everyone who accept the Buddha come to this level that that Sapurisa is their nature. So this particular person in the explanation by Dhammadinna, Putujjana is such he never accept the Arya Sravaka, Arya Dhamma, Sappurisa Dhamma, Sappurisa Vinaya. They are not in his capacity. They are not available for him because of his nature. He considers always form as the self as possessing form as in the self, and the self as in form. These are the 4 ways that he cognizes the form, rupa. So once again, form as self, rupa, rupang attato samanupasati, form as the self, and then the self as possessing form. Rupang attato samanupasati, rupantang va attanam, and then form as in the self, and the self as in form. This is why commentators, even in modern world, ask us to read this discourse carefully, slowly, not once, couple of times, and after reading, meditate on that, and then time to time take each subtopic for reflection, because this kind of uh, mathematical explanation could not come to us immediately. We have to live in that for a certain period of time, then only we understand. So these are the 4 ways that Rupa, the Sakkaya Ditthi is arisen based on Rupa. For Putujjana, for our untaught ordinary person. Then feeling also as the self as possessing feeling, or feeling as in the self, or the self as in form. Likewise, perception and formation, sankara, and consciousness also go like that, so that we can find 20 ways of rising of Sakkaya Ditthi. So non-arising of self-identity view Sakkaya Ditthi is also discussed in the same way. Visakha, the learned noble disciples, Suttava Arya Savako. We cannot forget these terms. Suttava Arya Savako. Suttava means learned. He or she has already heard a lot about what has to be heard. Suttava Arya Savako. So once you accepted the Buddha with Shraddha and followed the Dhamma, you are going to experience something beautiful. Look at some disciples during time of the Buddha, and they are Shraddha, they are stable. Nobody can change them even with any material thing, because their Shraddha, their confidence on the Buddha is so much so that they stand still on the training and also Dharma and Vinaya. So these are called Arya Savaka, Sutava. They have heard. The Sutava, the word Sutava or learned means theoretically and practically they have gone through the Dharma and Vinaya into a certain extent. So these people always respect the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. These people always follow the path, footprint of the Sappurusha, so that they are one of them and they respect them as well. So they do not consider Rupa as the self, the Rupa as possessing the self as possessing form. They do not consider form as in the self and also the self as in the form. They do not consider that. They do not accept that. They do not believe it. They do not uh, actually understand. They do not actually follow it. They always think that the Rupa does not have self. Rupa or the self does not have uh, you know the other way around. We can think other way around also. Rupa does not have self, or there is no self to take the Rupa, because those who, even before you attain to Sotapanna state, you have this understanding that Rupa is a made up of four elements. Rupa is any Rupa is taken by the mind, and created Rupa is always there. It's called Rupa Sanya, and that is how it build up in our mind. But there is no self, no Rupa is being accepted by self, because self is not there. So, with regard to feeling, with regard to perception, with regard to sankara, with regard to consciousness, he or she does the same thing, because it is the truth of their mind. I mean, the person who attained to Sotapanna has done this quite extensively, and he or she has nothing to do with that anymore. But even before that, in Saddhanusari and Dhamma, basically Dhammanusari level, which we talk about the development of wisdom in an extraordinary way, he or she also accept the fact that the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana are just only the mind and body and combination of mind and body, but there is no person who is taking it, and that because of that they are moving forward to destroy Sakkaya Ditthi and other unwholesomeness related to it, because they are way of this is called Arya Shravaka and Visaka. It is how self identity view is not going to be anymore. All right, I think I have been talking for nearly 50 minutes. We have just covered one sub topic of the sutta. There are 7 more. I think it's good for us to have a dialogue, just like Dhammadin and Visakha did in the sutta. Try our best to explain the beautiful Dhamma with regard to, I said, even sometime I tend to forget. You can add, you can edit, you can color it, because a lot of people benefit from this discussion. So anyone would like to begin? I always think that how Sakkaya Ditthi is arising in me, because uh, it's difficult to observe, but if you get into the subject and do some research, you feel that you can do it. Anytime and every time we present ourselves in front of people, we say I, me, and myself. That's convention. There I do that research internally. Oh, this is Sakkaya Ditthi. So you can stop yourself going to the extreme of it. You can manage. You can reduce the power of Sakkaya Ditthi. particularly when you have the opportunity to be angry because of misbehavior of some people, because of seeing what you don't want to say. Sakkaya Ditthi might arise with anger. So who is angry? It's me. Who said, who is me? Oh, now you quickly get into those teachings of the Buddha. You would be able to quickly transform yourself to a particular calm and peaceful state. So your attitude would be completely changed. And that's how you stop Sakkaya Ditthi being a big issue for you and everyone else. So Sakkaya Ditthi could be watched in that way, so that you stop Sakkaya Ditthi. And what is there then? You replace Sammaditthi, because when you understand what is going on in your mind, and and what is going to be after that as a consequence, you turn your reflection or investigation or things you experience into Sammaditthi. When Sakkaya Ditthi is known as Sakkaya Ditthi, it's a Sammaditthi. Actually, Mahachattarika Sutta is a wonderful piece of Dhamma to understand Sakkaya Ditthi. Another aspect, when you know, the moment you know that Sakkaya Ditthi is arising, you have activated the button of Sammaditthi in your mind. You have switched on your Sammaditthi. It's a form of Yoniso Manasikara is acting over there. So then you can handle the situation very well. Please do it, because we all talk about the theory about Sakkaya Ditthi and so on. Unable to apply them, means that we leave all the beautiful things around, but we do not own them. So in Dhammadayada Sutta, Buddha asks us to be a inheritance of the Dhamma. But try to take it, try to embrace it, drink it, so that you are going to be okay. You are going to cure yourself from the very unpleasant, the seed of suffering, Sakkaya Ditthi. So that if you come to a practical level, we have to think about everything that come from senses created a skandha, and tanha is arising in this way, and tanha is so quick to arise with ignorance, so that we all know this. We all know this scenario. So try your best to be mindful about what is going on in your mind when things happen, so that apply this teaching. At least from person to person, the way they apply the Dhamma is different, but it's acceptable. So try your best to feel Sakkaya Ditthi, be quick to take that Dhamma analysis based on Paticcasamuppada quickly, and then see how Sakkaya Ditthi is going away from you. It's a marvelous experience. All right, so anything you want to add? You can see that some participate, how many are there? There are about 14. If you do not have anything, I could go to the next one. Yeah, I have a question in the box. Bante, will I be able to listen to this sutra on YouTube? I will have to listen to it many times before I comprehend it. Yes, of course. It's live streaming. You can see it from the YouTube. Yes, Dr. Pial, you can talk. Unmute.
Go. Okay, since there is no one, I thought I'll just the Sakkaya Ditthi is when Dhammadina, I think the discussion is very interesting, where it says what is the cause of Sakkaya Ditthi. So it says the craving is the cause of Sakkaya, the rising of Sakkaya Ditthi. Now it's very, very clear. I think the answer is very clear here, because when you go back to the first Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, Sankitena, so what is the cause of suffering? Sankitena panchupadana skandha dukkha. So the clinging to the aggregates is suffering. So how to get rid of suffering is get rid of craving. Yeah. So in other words, it kind of fits in nicely here. The craving is the cause of Sakkaya Ditthi. However, I think at this level of Sakkaya Ditthi, the three fetters, say for example, if Sotapanna level Sakkaya Ditthi, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramas is gone, but Sakkaya Ditthi is gone doesn't mean the full craving is gone, but the majority is craving is gone, because you still have Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana Ditthi. So the Mana, the I is still hanging around in a little way. Like I think that is an example Buddha gave is like you wash the cloth completely, but the little bit of stain smell is still there of the soap or something like that. So what are your thoughts on that, Bhante?
Yes, true. Very true. When we talk about the cause of Sakkaya Ditthi, Tanha is being discussed here as the cause of Sakkaya Ditthi. As you said, Kamatanna, Bhavatanna, Vibhatanna are not completely gone when you attain to Sotapanna, because the Kamaraga, Patika, and the other five fetters in the order are still in the Sotapanna person. So that we cannot see that complete reduction, complete destruction of craving is happening when one attains to Sotapanna state. But how? But anyway, as you said, um, you have put yourself forward to end everything, because breaking the walls of Sakkaya Ditthi, the particular wrong view, is the most difficult thing, I would say, in the entire practice. Because once you get into the show, you feel that you are safe from all the dangers you came across through the entire stream. So you put yourself into the stream which is wholesome, and there you find that solid, that ground that you can stand still, so that you can go into the other levels of enlightenment or peace, whatever word you use, without any problem. So breaking the wall of Sakkaya Ditthi as a vision is really, really difficult, because it's subtle. A lot of people don't understand this because it's a mental, thing.
Mm.
Unless you really know what exactly your mind in line with the Buddha's teaching, you are not going to understand it. But I'm not saying that breaking of Sakkaya Ditthi, erosion of wall of Sakkaya Ditthi is taking place by even doing certain practices. Sometimes people don't know theoretical aspect of this particular practice, but they do reduction of Sakkaya Ditthi in number of ways they engage with. For example, people have Shraddha on certain things they should have. The teaching admire them. So slowly and firmly, they get rid of certain akusala. They try to establish themselves on Sila section. They have kind of Shraddha, kind of confidence on what they are doing. And now they are not too much attached to property and various things that many people hang on to. So they don't even accept the fact that they die and everybody else die. Loved ones, shortcomings are not that hardship for them. So somehow they have managed to reach to a level where they can let go. They even do not know this word Sakkaya.
So
Without
Sakkaya
knowing
Ditthi,
the, yeah.
so Sakkaya Ditthi is the main fetter for the stream enterer to break, but the we don't not talk about a lot Sakkaya Ditthi, the other two,
Yeah.
Sakkaya Ditthi, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa. We don't talk a lot about this. So this must be the main fetter. When this breaks, other two automatically falls away, or like
I would say yes, into a greater extent, because the first one is the main character of the three.
hmm.
Because you do wrong practices and rituals just because you accept you are here. You want to save yourself from various disasters, various things. And even when you go to when you say that I need to attain enlightenment, and if you establish on that idea very much, it's going to be a Sakkaya Ditthi, because sometimes we see people people are trying to go to the heaven, they are going to the nirvana, they are trying to do all kinds of things for the sake of attaining this and that. uh, they are building up the wall of sakkaya ditthi in the name of attaining nirvana or moksha, because they don't they hang on to those rituals very much. There are people who attach to bhavana without knowing what bhavana is.
So the
People have attached to very good practices like pujas and chanting, not knowing what they should expect from those things.
So because you have this, once you see through Sakadeti, I think you don't have no doubt anymore. This is the
Yeah,
thing. This is
yeah,
what
yeah,
happens. And then all these rituals are not important anymore, like attachment of Sila Bruta, right?
yeah,
I think they kind of wither away very quickly
yeah.
as well, I guess.
Because out of respect, out of veneration, you can worship even a statue or even a tree. You can do that, but what you are expecting from this is a kind of peaceful state of mind.
Hmm.
Actually, all the rituals Buddha admired should be done to take ourselves to a state where we feel better. For
Hmm.
example, the Buddha Puja, reciting gathas for Buddha Puja is a form of preparate meditation to prepare ourselves to gain samadhi. Unless you know the qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, how you deal with them, you are not going to be peaceful at during or at the puja. You know, if you do a flower offering, if you do candle or whatever it is, do it. These activities are called punya karma, meritorious deed. The wise people who knows about them, their background, can benefit from it. But those who do not know what it is and why we do that, they expect something else from them, which is building up sakkaya. So that is why the Buddha said in Mahachattari Sutta, Sammaditthi is Pubbangama for everything. Sammaditthi, the right view, is the foremost, just like the engine part of a car or engine compartment of the train or the plane. Without the engine, it doesn't go, no matter how long the train is, how comfortable the other compartment is. The engine section is the most important, whether it is in the front or in the back. So Sammaditthi, right view, is the forerunner for everything. And then uh, rituals you do with wisdom. You do them for a wholesome purpose, and you are not going to doubt about anything at all, because your vision is clear, because samadhi is there. So when sakkaya ditthi is taking place of the samadhi, everything you are going to do is to build up self. Oh, it's me, it's my thing. And something wrong is always going on in your mind. So we have to understand this from a broader point of view. That's why commentators and even scholars and everybody say this, that anything about deep dhamma like sakkaya ditthi, samadhi, we have to think about it. We have to reflect on it, try to do meditation on them, and do reflection. That's how it happened. When we come to seven factors for enlightenment, dhamma vichaya, dharma vinishchaya, investigation into dhamma is nothing but thinking about sakkaya, what sakkaya is. When sakkaya is here, how do I feel it? What kind of things I say? Which way I project myself in front of people? So this is called Dhamma Vinishchay, right? So you investigate yourself. You put Yoniso Manasikara into application in your thinking is called Dhamma Vichaya. It is the way we apply Sammaditi, and it is the way we break the wall of Sakkaya Ditthi. We should make holes. Suppose how you break a concrete. You take a hammer or whatever tools you hit so hard into the concrete wall, and the breaking of the concrete wall is taking place with little pieces. You have to work so hard for several hours to break it, at least to make a hole from this end to the other end. Then it's going to be weak. The concrete wall is going to crack and make big pieces out from the main wall, and at some point you break it completely. So likewise, Sakkaya Ditthi is a concrete wall in us. We have given so much for it for many lifetime, so that it is a concrete wall like things, and we have to have Sammaditi always with to break it. Yoniso Manasikara is the way of Sammaditi, so that it is broken. As I come to your question, your not question actually your statement. Yes, when you break Sakkaya Ditthi into pieces, the existence of Silabhata Paramas and um, uh, doubt has no place to exist in us, because they are being cleared. So only thing we need to consider is Sakkaya Ditthi. Remember these words: Sakkaya Ditthi, Sammaditthi, and also Micchaditthi. These are the three terms that goes in one line. Micchaditthi is wrong, is a very dangerous view. Those who have Micchaditthi never believes any good things in it. They accept the good things depending on the context, but they do not accept the life after this, life before this, and they don't consider merits. They don't consider anything about going away from suffering and so on. They of course always believe nasty things, Micchaditthi. Uh, those who have Sakkaya Ditthi could be very good people. Sakkaya Ditthi is a very subtle thing that sometimes religion do not talk. The lot of theistic religion never talk about this, because their level of Dhamma is different from this. So that being born to divine existence is the ultimate of some teaching. So that is called, bhava, expecting bhava with Sakkaya Ditthi. You being a nice person here, worship God, worship the God, and expect to be another person, which means you appreciate Sakkaya. But Buddha's teaching is quite different from that. Our aim, or the Buddha has given for us, is to work out to reduce Sammaditthi if you cannot do it quickly, and later you take brave steps to disappear Sakkaya Ditthi. So yes, as you said, there is no doubt that hitting so hard on Sakkaya Ditthi means you have also fought with other two enemies, and you have done everything with that. So that is what it is. So
Thank you, Bhante. I
wonderful.
think Sister Tandrani is waiting, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She has raised her hand. So unmute and talk.
Thiruvan Sarnai. The point that I have to bring up is Sakkaya Ditthi means regarding the 5 aggregates, but still our even if we break through these, senses are attached. So we have the Tanha Mama, and also the Mana. So that means here a great understanding of, and we understand that there's no person moving from one life to another. It is not Atma, but it is a way of, like we can say, evolution, like changing from one state to another because of karma, a new stage or a good or a bad one. But still, because the senses are active, that person will have tanha. So there's a tanha mama. And then we consider mana, like that person might
Mind,
think I know Dhamma and all that. So my question is it okay if we look at this person in the view of there's a like we consider five aggregate as self, but that is sort of we can break through, but still we are bound to the samsara from the other view of self. Is it correct?
yeah, you mentioned all the items or ingredients of the subject, like yeah, we talk about panchakanda, and a wrong view about panchakanda is going to be is going to be the view which is wrong. Basically that is what it says. Sakaya means, with the word kaya we talk about five skandhas, and when you put with sakkaya means, when we come to sakkaya, it means five aggregates are taken as I, me, and myself. Then it is the wrong view we have in the sakkaya ditti. Yes, as you said, tanha, mana, ditti. These are the three ways that living beings attach to rupa, vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana. So if tanha, mana, ditti. So ditti is completely broken out when you deal with the sakkaya ditti completely. But tanha, mana are still existing, but with warns, because they have given warnings. When you break up sakkaya ditti into pieces, tanha, mana are also shaken into a great extent. For example, uh, if you are threatened by uh, a big storm, friend who is 40 kilometers away from you is also shocked by it, because he or she might think that it comes to our place as well, because it's a big storm. And if a thief come to the next door, you are going to be shocked by it, because you're also in a position to have the same thing. Likewise, when Sakkaya is attacked with the weapon of wisdom, Tanha and Mana are also shocked by it. So, as you said, yes, when you have sensory experiences, this thing happen always. But you know what? When we know this thing happen, we can have some moments without Sakkaya. I don't think that each moment in our life is going to be away from Sakkaya until we put the seal that I am a Sotapanna, you have it. But at the same time, the silver line we have is that we know this, we know the mechanism of Sakkaya we know the mechanism of Sammaditi, so that we can get the moment uh, to be away from Sakkaya and live with Sammaditi. So the increasing of the moments of Sakkaya is the key to push that Sakkaya away from us. I think yes, the gross level of moving away from Samadhi is that we can say that there is no person moving from this life to next life, because every aspect of mind and body, namely skandha, they are rising and passing always. So when we say person, it's a combination of physical and mental aspect, the mind and matter, particularly Nama Rupa. They are arising and passing away of always. The knowledge about arising and passing away of everything means Udayattagamini Panya. When you have it, you know that there is no particular person living in this body, but a combination of physical and mental phenomena. So having said this, having accepted this, you cannot see a person die, but the death is occurred uh, to disintegrate the physical and mental aspect, and karma as an essence travel. The word we could use is transform or transmit. These words are not good enough to tell that, but in order for us to understand the fact, let's say travel or goes from here. because of the other defiled state exists in his mind, he has to or she has to get another life. And when you see all these scenario and when you explain it to somebody, that is the gross level of explaining how one ended up Sakkaya Ditthi and moving forward, and also how one has Sakkaya Ditthi and moving forward. But when it comes to the subtle level of the explanation of Sakkaya Ditthi and not Sakkaya Ditthi, we have to stick to the skandha level, and where that is the particular Dhamma aspect where we could see Sakkaya Ditthi arising and passing and so forth. So I think what you say is right, and we can say Sakkaya Ditthi in gross level, and we can say Sakkaya Ditthi in subtle level, and we can also say the moving from Sakkaya Ditthi in gross level and also moving from Sakkaya Ditthi in subtle level, because it has many aspects. I don't know whether you get what I said.
Yeah, very good. Very well, sir. Bom pin. Teruvan saranai.
All right, Vimal Mahatmya from Sri Lanka raised hand, so you can unmute and talk. You are still muted. Yes, you are still muted, Vimal Mahatmya.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Since we are running out of time, I'll make it very short. In the translation, I see, Bhante, it describes that remainderless fading and cessation of craving. Can that happen in the elimination of the first Sangyojana, the first fetter?
That's what Dr. Pial said. Let me get the discourse. It is with regard to the let me get it.
The self-identification part.
Yeah, I'm good. Sakkaya nirodhoti ayye uchchati katamanuko ayye sakkaya nirodho utto bhagavata. Yoko avso visaka tassayeva tannaya asesa viraga nirodho chago patinisaku muttena layang avso visaka sakkaya nirodho utto bhagavata. Yeah, so the Pali and English wording on that says that reminderless
fading and cessation.
Fading and cessation of very tanha. Yes, when you say it, that Sakkaya, when you destroy Sakkaya Ditthi, it is likened to complete destruction of craving. That's it is the way we sound it. But from analytical understanding of the entire subject, we can see that moving away from Sakkaya Ditthi means you have destroyed the other two fetters completely, and you are in Sotapanna state. If we talk about the categories of noble disciples and what they do, being a Sotapanna means you have karma. You have the desire for existence in the karma. You have karma, you have the desire for sensual pleasures, and you want to exist you in that. And sometimes you don't want to be in that. So these are called kamatanna, bhavatanna, vibhavatanna. To the extent that Sotapanna experience, yes, he has no craving, no any other things related to his level, but he has to do more. Where I think the way I understand this statement is related to the Sotapanna state. You have no craving, no tanha, but as a fact we know with regard to 10 fetters and what noble disciples do with the noble path with the related to the 10 fetters. you still have kama, you still have raga. Because uh, you have only destroyed sakkaya ditthi, the view. That's why these three words are important. Tanha, mana, ditti. So tanha is always going with I, and mana means me and myself, ditti. So by attaining to sotapanna, you destroy the wrong view, wrong practices and rituals and doubts. By destroying view and doubts and wrong rituals means you are on the right side, you are on the safer side. Still, you have that habitual patterns to engage with karma, not like in a previous state, but into a certain extent. So that is what I want to say. When you say asesa viraga nirodho chago patinisaggo muttyanaleo, we cannot see complete destruction of craving by putting by having solutions to sakkaya, but you are closer to. I remember this simile from the Buddha. The simile is you make a tank like things, huge one. It's let's say 4 kilometers length and width, and height also is the same, and that's the tank, the size of the tank, and you put mustard seed into it to the top level. So you take a handful of mustard seed, and there now your hand is full with mustard seed. So compare the mustard seed on your hand to the mustard seed in the tank. So what you have is very little, even cannot talk about, because the mustard seed in the huge 4 kilometers, huge tank, you have a lot. You cannot even count. Having said this, similarly, Buddha says that when you attain to Sotapanna state, the suffering you have, the causes of suffering you have destroyed is compared to the mustard seed in the tank. So once again, when you become a Sotapanna, you have destroyed the suffering and the cause of suffering into the number of mustard seed in the tank. The residue or the leftover is like what you have in your hand. With this simile, we can understand the tanha of the Sotapanna is very minor, little. Even he or she get married to somebody, their level of sensual pleasure is not that strong. The way they attach to things, of course they have upadana, but their upadana is short-lived. Their upadana is not creating any bad akusala. Of course, some akusala is being created, but they are sold out immediately because they are niyato sambodhi parayano. When we have these titles with that name, we can understand that their tanha is very insignificant in my understanding. So that's why this kind of statement coming from great disciples, asesa viraga nirodho chago patinisaggo muttayana, actually this very statement is for the complete destruction of craving, but it could be used here in my understanding that putting sakkaya ditthi away completely from your mind means you have done 90% of your job in the training.
This tanha is directly linked to kamaraga, is it?
Kama raga, yes, in the fetters, in Dasa Sangyojana, Kama raga is always going with tanha, but tanha has a big topic like avidya. They are scattered in everywhere. In each section of 10 fetters, we can see tanha and avidya working together.
So
Because-
in that sense, the total elimination of tanha can be seen at non-returner level, elimination of kamaraga and patigha, not at the sotapanna
that
level.
answer is very reliable, I think, because yes, and because you don't want to engage with any household matters at all, like because basically desire to be in marriage life is gone. That's why Visakha told Dhammadinna that we associate as brother and sister after this, right now. So you because Kamarag is completely gone, so that you don't want to engage with any such activity. But still, you have type of upadana, little, we talk about upadana. Attvadu, Kam upadana is gone. Ditthi upadana is gone. Silabbat upadana is also gone. Attavadu upadana, I think this is the one upadana that hang on to by Anagami. Still he has or she has that particular Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Manudda Chavija. We should not understand these Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Man, particularly Man, Uddha Chavija with full form. They have little bit of it. Little bit of each of these one.
Attavada is part of a kind of self-identification.
It seems, but when we come to Attavadupadana, it's not only view, because Dittyupadana is there always, right? If you go by words, word matching, when Sakkadit is gone, Dittyupadana is also gone, because you do not hang on to your views strongly after you attend to Sotapan. You have a view, this is my husband, this is my son, this is so and so, and like Visakha, Lady Visakha. So you have that particular attachment, but it's been gone quickly. That they are just like line drones on the water. They are temporarily existing. So yes, when you say Attavadu Upadana to self is being talked, but the view about it is gone with the Dittupadana. Gone. But
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for your kindness.
It's a very good question, which is difficult to answer also by words, but we can understand that reminderless fading away of tanha is always therefore the complete destruction of craving, and you are there in the nirvana, complete package of nirvana. But it is being used here with the sakkaya, because if you break sakkaya, you have given message to each of those unwholesomeness that I'm coming to and I'm going to kill you.
Correct.
So that is the way I think that we should understand that.
Yes, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome. I think it's 9:27 now. It's better for us to end today's discussion with that particular first section of the Chula Vedalla Sutta. We can take the others as we discussed, perhaps with one session, two sessions, perhaps with many sessions, because it's giving us connections to other Dhamma facts, so that we will be taking more sessions to complete this Sutta, Chula Vedalla. And we have respect to the Buddha in the first place, and also we have respect to the Venerable Ananda for telling this story, the Sutta for us, and of course we have so much respect to Bhikkhuni Arhan Dhammadinna and the Visakha for doing this discussion for us to understand Dhamma. And I should thank all of you for participating positively with question and concern, and even those who stayed silent, they are respected too. And by the power of this wholesome Dhamma discussion, may you have that extraordinary strength and wisdom to break the wall of Sakkaya Ditthi here and right now, and be a safe, reach to a safe land in this samsara. May these blessings for you to make your samsara journey a short one. With that in mind, we are going to end today's discussion. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Tomorrow we have the SIL program here at the temple for Vesak. And if you are interested, you can participate in meditation and Dhamma discussion. And if not, you have a lot of opportunities. You will have a lot of opportunities in the near future, because programs, Vesak programs are being organized by each temple so that you can participate. Anyway, try to embrace Dhamma as much as you can and be a winner. With that in mind, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.